Hi, beautiful people. Romina here from RM Podcast FL. So today's episode is slightly different because I actually wanted to cover some important things to know if you're going to go to school full time and work full time, or if you're going to start signing yourself up for classes, even that being part time. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and these are some lessons that I wish I knew before. I kind of sign myself up for a lot. So let's get to it. The first one is have a clear vision. It's super duper important for you to have a clear vision and know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. If you are going to school just to have a degree, then just don't do it. Because if you just want to have a degree just to have it framed on the wall or just to have a piece of paper, I know sometimes I say it's only a piece of paper, but you need to have a clear vision to why you're getting your degree. Is that something that you're really passionate about? Is that something that you can absolutely help you escalate in your career? Or is it something that maybe your employee is like, hey, if you have this, you can get a promotion, so you definitely want to do it. So definitely have a clear vision to why you're doing what you're doing, because you're signing yourself up for limitless hours of work on top of your regular work, especially if you have kids or if you have family. Um, if you're a very people person, then that's just going to be a little bit tough. So have a clear vision of why you're doing what you're doing and know exactly the end goal. The second one, I definitely want to let you know it does get lonely sometimes. No matter how close of a circle you have, no matter how supportive your family can be times that just they just don't see your vision. They're gonna tell you to slow down, or they're gonna be like, "Hey, come on with us," to do this, and you're just like, "I have 100 things to do." So once you start kind of missing out a lot of like family gatherings or friends gathering, then you will feel lonely or you will feel misunderstood because you cannot explain the vision exactly to the other party, and it's just going to be overwhelming sometimes. It does get overwhelming. um, I'll be honest, I have times, 2 in the morning, that I'm still working and trying to get stuff done, that I'll just start crying because I feel lonely. So it happens. It's okay. It happens. It's temporary. Just know that feeling will go away. And just know that, again, having the clear vision will get you there. And just know that not everybody needs to understand you on what you're doing. The third one is recycling your connections. It's very important to have the right people close to you whenever you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. And it's very important for you to, have a good support system. You might have friends that just they're full of drama, or there's like he said, she said, or there's always something going on with them. You can slow down the conversation with them. It's okay. You can recycle your connections. It doesn't have to be hard feelings. You can just say, hey, I understand, like, we've been friends for years. You're a really great, amazing person. I just don't have time right now. Like, I'm trying to finish school, so I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Nothing personal. It's not easy to have those conversations. And if you actually go to the podcast and listen to the episode with Jacob Devlin, he does a really good job at kind of explaining how he was able to kind of go through his connections and kind of, build a great inner circle too once he start doing his MBA program and going to school. So referring back to that episode as well for it. Time management. Time management is super duper important. I'm super organized as a person. Maybe somebody's not as organized. I was not as organized before, but kind of like my work and my school made me. So I have a calendar on my own phone that I schedule everything. I have a weekly printed calendar. Like, for example, this week I have a weekly printed calendar. Um, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, nothing is scheduled because it's Christmas, but knowing myself, I'll probably still end up doing something work or school related, or try to write an article somehow. So it's important to time manage. It's important to schedule everything in so you know exactly what you're doing. And my friends make fun of me sometimes. Like, we had an ugly Christmas sweater party for one of my friends, and I had to put in my schedule 3 months ago. And even last minute, something came up with my family. They wanted to do another dinner. I was like, I cannot do this because I committed to other things. So schedule everything in so you know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. Yeah, you can try to be free spirited, but not when you have two full time jobs pretty much, because it's going to school and it's also doing your normal job. So Definitely time management is important. Schedule dates with yourself. This is super duper important as as an extrovert and as a Gemini. I love spending time with people. I love connecting with people. I get energized by hanging out with other people. But I also schedule dates with myself. That being either just hopping on the car and just going to the town next to mine for a couple hours, or just taking myself out on on a date to see a movie, or what else do I do? Or even just road tripping. Taking food out. Sometimes I stay on my PJs all day. I schedule a whole day to myself, and I will, deliver food and just drink, wine, or just chill at home and watch a movie and don't do nothing. So definitely, it's important to schedule time with yourself. You need to kind of repress the button and, recalibrate your own feelings, your own thoughts. So it's important. The sixth one is the reward program. What I do, there are semesters that I take 5 classes, semesters that I take 2 classes, semesters that I take, four. So when I know for a fact that my semester will be super loaded, I make a commitment to myself that if I get, let's say, for example, 3 A's, or if I ace the semester, or if I have a really crazy final paper to write, and I'm like, if I get an A in this, I'm gonna reward myself with this. I typically tend to reward myself with road trips because that's what I love doing, and that's how I've been able to take a lot of road trips the last 4 years because I need to see results. Once I get what I like, once I commit to myself that this is what I'm gonna do, then I reward myself because that's what energizes me. So it's very important. Something else to also remember is if you do not end up hitting your goal, then you do not reward yourself. So this way, you're not just going to get a participation trophy. You're actually going to get the reward that you deserve for the work you put in. So do a contract with yourself. Tell your family or your friend one or your partner to hold you accountable for the reward that you're going to put yourself for. So that's important too. The seventh one is let your employees and your professors know. This is super duper important. From an employee's perspective, if you let your employee know, for example, when I worked sales, I let my employee know that I'm also going to school full time. So if there was a special program that they had going on that kind of fit my major, or if there was a certain project, or if there was anything that they can help, my manager typically told me, he's like, hey, like, you're kind of studying for this, so how about this project? Also, a lot of employees do offer tuition reimbursement. So, and the tuition reimbursement, they don't just put it out there. They might have it under the resources tab under the HR for corporate world. But if you do tell your manager, they might be able to tell you a little bit more information on the tuition reimbursement, tips and tricks of how to actually leverage the whole tuition reimbursement. I know myself, I used tuition reimbursement for quite some time whenever I was working corporate, which helped out because I pay for school myself. So it just kind of good to kind of recycle the money. So like once you get reimbursed for that classes, it's time to pay for the next classes pretty much. So you're just kind of recycling it. And also, especially on the finals time, if I was super stressed or super overwhelmed, or you can tell sometimes like, okay, something is off with Romina, I would tell my manager, say, hey, I have this crazy final paper to write about, or I have my finals coming out, or there's time scenarios that I had to do case studies where I actually interviewed my manager or my VP or my supervisor, because I would get real life case studies and that would be able to help me. I remember one time for a project management class, I actually broke down a whole project that the corporate job that I was working at did. That it was a lot of work, it was a lot of research, but one of the managers actually sat me down and went through everything that they did 3 years prior and the results of it. So I was able to actually get a real life case study instead of just doing a bunch of Google research. And this way I was able to interview some of the managers too. So it's important. From the professor's perspective, it's important to let your professor know because I would mention to you 2 times, one personal and one for a friend. Personal one, there was one time that I had way too much in my plate. I was super stressed. I was having health issues, and I was late on my assignment, which is not something that I tend to do. I'm very critical to meet my deadlines, but that time I was just late on my assignment. I was late for about a week and a half, let's be honest. And according to the syllabus, I could submit the work up to 7 days late, but every day it was 10% deduction of the actual points. So I actually emailed my professor and said, hey, I do work full time. This is what's my health been going on. I've been trying to balance it as much as I can. This assignment is going to be the deal breaker between an A and a B for me. Is there any way in the world you'd be able to allow me to resubmit it, or can I do something extra so I can actually get an A. I know this email might not sound as professional as you like it to be, but this is my reality right now. And the professor was able to actually allow me 1 more week for the assignment. I submitted the assignment. I actually put in a lot of work to it. It ended up being like a 12-page research paper, I remember. And I ended up getting an A for the class because I also showed with my work that by getting a little bit more time, that it is, it's worth it for the professor to give you a little bit of time. Professors want that students to succeed. Professors don't want to just fail their students. If you're dealing with such a professor, then I'm sorry, but the professors that I've run across, they definitely want their students to succeed. And if they see that you go to school full time and everything, then it's definitely a bonus. Um, Another perspective for the professor side, I remember a family friend actually was right on the verge between a C and a B for a course. And what ended up happening is that if this person did not get a B on the course, their GPA would drop below 3.0 and they would lose the internship that they had. So I remember telling him, I was like, hey, why don't you just go to your professor and just sit down and say, this is what's actually happening. I have an internship on my major. If I do drop below 3.0, I would actually lose my internship, which not only affects my career, but affects my money too, since I go to school and I work full time. And is there any extra assignments I can do? Is there a work or a test that I can retake? I'm actually trying, but the course that this individual was having was just a really hard course. And they're like, what can I do? So what ended up happening is they just had a sit down full conversation, just talked about the course, and he actually did some extra work. I was able to get a B for the class. So was able to maintain the 3.0 GPA to maintain the internship. So have an open communication with your professors is super important, and have an open communication with your employee too. I'm not saying to start slacking and use this as an excuse, but if you're really committed, they will actually be able to see that as well. The eighth one would be slow down. There's times that I've taken 5 courses per semester. There's times that I've taken 2 courses per semester, times that I've taken a whole semester off. It's okay to slow down. If you're doing a 4-year degree, just know how the programs with colleges work is that they pretty much have fall and spring separated out for you, but you can kind of redo your own schedule once you have the requirements for the degree. And it's okay to take some time off to yourself if you really need it. If you just too much on your plate and you just cannot handle it, like that's okay. Slow down. It's okay to slow down because you better slow down instead of going 100 miles an hour and crash and burn, and you just have to restart and reboot your whole system. So it's okay to slow down. The ninth point I would like to highlight is reevaluate celebrations. Screw FOMO. This is what I mean by it is don't worry about fear of missing out. If your friends are going out Friday, Saturday, going out partying or having a big gathering or, just a get together, if you know for a fact that you have stuff to do, that you need to hit your goals, you can either just dismiss it and just say, be honest, kind of going back to the recycling your connections and having like a clear communication with your friends. Either say, hey, like, I'm really sorry I cannot make this happen because I have something else scheduled, or I have an assignment due, or I have work due. You can either do that, or sometimes you can either just show up for, like, instead of like a 5-hour get together, you can show up for an hour. So this way you still kind of enjoyed hanging out with your friends, but just know that, you need to manage your time. Something that I do a lot is typically I tend to ignore the small get-togethers. Um, but if it's a baby shower, if it's a wedding, if it's a birthday, a big birthday celebration, and all these individuals involved in the celebrations are really close to my heart, then I will show up. Maybe not for the full thing, but I will make sure I will show up, and actually express that, I'm there for them, even though my schedule is a bit crazy. So it's okay. If they don't understand it, then I'm sorry, but you have your goals to hit. So just saying. And then the 10th point that I would like to mention is have faith. I know it's not easy. I know it. Okay. I've been there. I know it's a lot to take in. You're going to have times that you're like, what in the world am I doing? And do I really want to do this? But have faith, because I can tell you from personal experience, just within the last 4 years that I've started doing full time school, full time work. This year has been a little bit different, but I've learned so much more, and I've grown as an individual a lot more. And I don't know, like, if I met the Romina that was 4 years ago, I would not think or evaluate things the same. This whole process is going to help you to grow up as an individual, professionally, personally. It's going to just adult you to a whole nother level. So just have faith. Just know day in and day out that you have the clear vision, and just know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. And then this way we'll be able to help you on your goals. So have faith. It's important. So to kind of just accumulate the 10 points here, have a clear vision. It does get lonely sometimes. Recycle your connections. Time management is important. Schedule dates with yourself. Reward program. Create your own rewards program. Let your employer and your professor know. Slow down if you need to. Reevaluate celebration. Screw FOMO. And have faith. So I know 2021, it is at the corner, and if your goal is to kind of start signing yourself up for courses, or start, maybe doing a certification, or just getting a degree on something, or even a small certification like an 8-week program or a 6-month program, whatever it is, I hope this 10 points did help out to you. If you do know somebody that is about to start their process, or they already are in their process, then go ahead and just share this podcast episode or this video. Hopefully it'll help them out as well. And as always, make sure to tune in every Tuesday to RM Podcast FL for interviews with professionals of different careers. Until then, I hope you guys have a great, blessed day. Bye.